When you are the very best in your field, you get asked for advice. And for professional caterer and friend of Studio 5, Mary Crafts Homer, she gets asked a lot to be a mentor. Who wouldn't want to learn from her, right? She's got a dynamic personality, some solid business smarts. The founder of the largest catering company in Utah, Mary is a master at throwing a party. She turns every event, big and small, into a celebration. Mary's a favorite guest here on Studio 5. Her amazing culinary displays always wow us. She's a pro with years of experience, and she is willing to share. Mary feels like she's mentored thousands of women in her life, but here's the twist. After years of helping other women, Mary realized it was time to have a mentor of her own.
12 months from now, I'm going to be stepping back from culinary crafts. I'm not ready to retire. I have more energy, more excitement, more of a network, more enthusiasm and passion for life than I've ever had. So I started looking for my own mentor, and I always pictured her as this 80-year-old woman in a rocking chair that I would go visit her, and she'd walked my path. She'd had a family. She, worked as a career, and now she was retired, and she went through all the stages and showing me how to get to the next stage that I'm in, because at age 64, that's right around the corner. And my mentor group then took on a whole different kind of dynamic to it. They now range from age 29, and I'm the oldest at 64. And there's some in their 40s, some in their 50s. And I am always amazed when the 29-year-old opens her mouth, I'm like, how did you get so wise at age 29? I love that. We do things from taking a hike together, to going to a spa together, to just coming to somebody's house, to going out to lunch. We did an overnighter. To see each other in different situations. The amount of trust that's coming to our group has been phenomenal. There isn't anything that we wouldn't now bring to each other. I brought something the other day that I hadn't shared with anyone else on this planet, even my husband. And they were able to help me kind of see it and walk through that process. And as women, we need to have each other's back.
How amazing is that? First of all, we love Mary. We can't say that enough. But the fact that she was willing to open herself up in that way to that group of women, I just love that. I think it's so inspiring. Mary says her mentor group has helped her figure out what's next for her. And I think she's proof, no matter what age or stage of life, a mentor makes sense. So, do you need one? A mentor is more than just a friend. This person is not a husband, not a therapist, but rather a new category of knowledgeable and trusted advisors. We're pulling in an expert on why you might need a mentor. Corporate recruiter Carly Hazen is joining me. I'm really intrigued with this topic. I have been for a while. Does it need to be a formal relationship, Carly, where you're saying, will you be my mentor? Yes, I will.
No, in fact, I think the best mentorships usually happen very organically. You don't realize you're being mentored, and maybe someone doesn't realize they're mentoring you until you start really being able to pinpoint where you're learning from the best examples.
What is it about women lifting women that is so powerful and so effective?
When you have, well, first of all, I think most of us want to be a success in something, a professional area and a personal area, and that's a really complex path. So I think finding someone who can help you avoid those pitfalls, who can help get you up to speed faster, who can basically shorten your learning curve and save you from anything out there that could be an additional hurdle for you to jump, is what's so valuable. And when you find, for us, typically it's either a woman in business or a woman who's really running a great family, or someone who really feels like they've found a nice centered point in their life. You want to learn from that. And especially if you're struggling in a particular area, I think it's really inspiring to see exactly where you want to be and already see it in front of you being done very well. That's what you want to aspire to.
So in this day and age of LinkedIn, digital connections,
Right.
does that replace the need for that face-to-face human relationship?
No. In fact, I think, have you ever heard that old adage, tell me and I'll forget, teach me, I might remember, involve me and I learn?
Yes. That's
something that you can't get over a technology platform. A true mentor actually involves you. They will see faults in you you don't want to know about. They will see more than you even believe you have, and they will be brutally honest with you in the areas that you need to improve. They are invested in your growth. That can be a really uncomfortable process, but that's exactly how you're going to learn and improve. If you have someone who's willing to invest on a very deep level, and it takes away from their time, it takes away from their professional network, but the reason they will do it is they see fulfillment in your potential, right? So that, I think, investment becomes a really powerful thing.
You've already started your argument, and I'm already on board.
Yeah,
so
awesome.
mentors provide information and knowledge. Mentors tell you like it is. Sometimes that's harder to hear.
Brutally honest.
Mentors inspire and encourage, and this is where I think the warm fuzzy comes into play, so to speak. We all need a woman who kind of lifts us up from the inside out.
Yeah, I think I can't remember if it was Oprah or someone, that a mentor allows you to see hope inside yourself. They're not trying to create a carbon copy. They aren't trying to create someone in their own image. They're trying to help you create you, right? They're giving you the framework to create the best version of yourself possible. And a lot of that is through emotional support. Because when you start getting, and sometimes the worst thing that can happen is you get success very quickly, because then you're not adequately prepared for when you're not as successful, and that can be a really deep emotional dive. So it's kind of that tough love sprinkled with cheerleading, sprinkled with a lot of emotional support, but really they're learning from your example and seeing how, you know, your mentor handles those type of upsets and pitfalls.
You say a mentor is a great person to be your sounding board, to take ideas to them and have them help you weigh it out.
Yeah, and that's why I think someone in your field is so incredible, because they can help you really see which ideas have potential and have legs, and what you should literally spend absolutely no more time on, right? It is a sunk cost. It's time to move on. And that advice, if it's given by your husband or your best friend, you take it with a grain of salt, but at the end of the day, you're kind of like, I know what's best for me. Thank you. That was fun, right? A mentor can actually go one step further and say, and here's why. You spend longer on this, and here's what ultimately can happen. I did this, let me give you a great example, and it's just such a powerful argument. So finding the right mentor in, you know, the area that you want to be in is so incredibly powerful.
Mary talked about the trust that has evolved in her group, and that trust, you say, is key.
It is key, because they could be giving you some very hard advice, and if that comes from someone who you don't trust, that's, you know, a really rough exercise. It feels very hurtful. I've had a real tough love mentor in my life, and some of that advice it's advice you didn't even know you needed, because I think all of us have kind of our mental areas of pros and cons, strengths and weaknesses. So to have someone point out a weakness and you're like, that wasn't even in my weakness category. I thought that was like a fun nuance of my personality. You're telling me it's obnoxious, right? I thought it was a fun idiosyncrasy and charming, but it's not. So I think that trust is where you can say, I'm taking that to heart, and I can see why. And again, they'll go one step further, and they'll say, when you do that, here's the way you think it comes across. Here's how it actually comes across.
And I know we're shaping our conversation in the focus of why you need a mentor. It's also, I think, testament, though, to why you should be a mentor.
Yes, and that's what we were just talking about. That's so powerful, and I think Mary pointed it out. So many people don't realize that they could be a mentor, because you picture mentors as like Gandalf the wizard, right? Like someone who has like reached this like epitome of wisdom. That's not the truth. People at 29 can be a really effective mentor. People with only 2 and 3 years. I did a reference check on an executive, and I always ask during my reference checks that are very detailed and very lengthy, what's a weakness? And I don't give up on it. Everybody has a professional area that they need to improve upon. And I got such a great answer from the mentor of someone I was getting a reference by, and he said, I think he needs to find more opportunities to pay it forward. And it's not because he's not gracious or humble or willing. He hasn't realized he's reached that apex where he has a lot to give.
I love that.
I think people always want to reach a mastery before they ever profess to be an expert. That's not when it's really valuable. It's when you're in the moment and you can go, you know, I have learned at least enough in this area. I want to look for someone with potential and start paying it forward.
So inspiring. And you've mentored all of us over the years. So thank you.
Thank you.
Seriously, through the screen, we appreciate that.
Thank
You're great,
you
Carly.
very much.